Good morning. This is Ben from I'm Not Licensed. And, today I was like sitting and I was thinking to myself, what do we want to cover today? And it's quite a few topics, but I mean, they're not all like, bangers, if you will, but they're all, lent into the same list of things that we could do to be better people. And, with it being, Men's Mental Health Month or Mental Health Awareness, whatever they call it at the time. But it's Men's Mental Health Month, Father's Day. There's also Pride Month. There's Juneteenth. So there's a lot of shit going on in the month of June. But first and foremost, I just wanted to cover one real quick though. The new Oliver Anthony song, the scorn of a woman, scornful woman, scorn of a woman. I think it's what it's called. Super super good song. I was like fishing through like YouTube last night and ended up coming across it on the Joe Rogan show. And I listened to it, and then I jumped over to Oliver Anthony's channel and listened to it there. And I was just like, man, what an awesome song. The guy just can write some absolutely amazing music. And it turns out that a lot of his music does have a lot of truth in it, and about current events and whatnot. And I don't believe that this is any different, as allegedly he was divorced and his wife took or tried to take everything and some. And I just thought it was like ironic because I kind of went through the same thing. Not like took everything of mine, but I mean, she decided that she wanted to take a lot more than she was due, like that I felt like she deserved. And I believe, unfortunately, in the in today's climate, today's society, when it comes down to divorce, I do believe that it turns out to where the spouse tends to ask for a lot more than they know that they actually deserve. But that's not really what I wanted to come on here and talk about. But anyways, that's for another topic, right? Another day. Today's thing is it's the riots and stuff over in L.A. It's very very unfortunate that we live in a country where we have so much freedom, right? And when I say that, I mean, you know, we have the freedom to be able to get into a cop's face and like bitch him out and like essentially just spit all over him because you've just got all this saliva in your mouth. And like you can just get in someone's face screaming and yelling at them, being absolutely belligerent and absurd. And let's face it, there's really nothing that you can do about it, right? So if you get in within my personal space and I can reach out and touch you, that's okay. As soon as I do, then that's not okay. So I can't defend my personal space. I can only defend my person, right? And it's very unfortunate, right? Because people have learned how to play all these like, oh, this is my amendment and my amendment and my amendment and this and that. And it's like freedom this and freedom that. I can do this and I can do that. And it's like, yeah. But let's face it, what you're doing is you are fighting for people who are here illegally and they know that they're here illegally. And granted, yes, they might be productive human beings and they might be productive parts of society, but the reality is that they know that they're here under false pretense. They know that they're here illegally. They know they're not supposed to be here, right? Okay. Well, Ben, who are you to say? Who are you to say, right? Well, I'll tell you who I am to say because although I may not look Mexican, my dad's Mexican, and his parents are Mexican. His parents are probably more Mexican than him. Him. His parents were more Mexican. They're both dead now. Grandpa Joe and Grandma Phyllis was their names, and my dad's name is Tom. Right? Strange name for a Mexican, but whatever. Anyways, served in the military, allegedly. I don't know. I never actually saw any factual documentation that said he was actually in the Marines, but he claimed to be in the Marines. My mom claimed that he was in the Marines, and if that's the case, then great. I appreciate that. And but let's face it. At 49 years old, I look at it like he's been such a small, minute part of my life. if I had to venture to guess, I would say collectively 2 years, maybe. Maybe three if I'm being generous, a day here, a day there, a week here, a week there, a month here, a month there. Just in the time frames that like he was within my life that I remembered and was a part of it. And then also for the time that he went away, we just became estranged again because it was like, hey, look, and like I'm not going to go out of my way to be a part of your life, and if you're not going to go out of your way to be a part of mine, well then fuck you. Doesn't hurt my feelings one way or the other, right? Grew up without you, I'll continue on my life without you. But anyways, my guess is that my grandparents, and I never got into this story with them because it was never really a topic back then, because when I met them, I was in 8th grade. And when you're in 8th grade, the only thing you're really trying to do is like, play with girls and go have fun with your friends and play outside and like do boy stuff, right? You're not really into the whole politics, and you're not into, the temperature of the society nowadays. And let's face it, back in when I was in 8th grade, let's see, I graduated in 92, a year early, so 3 years prior to that was 1989. The fuck was going on in the United States in 1989? It wasn't a bunch of people hiding behind their phones, bitching and moaning about every fucking thing under the sun, crying and complaining because they have social anxiety and they have anxiety, and I gotta smoke weed, and I can't handle authority, and I can't do my chores, and I can't do this, and I can't do that because, I grew up in a sheltered home. My parents never hugged me enough. Okay, well, that was back in 1989. We didn't have that. We were outside. We played baseball in the streets. We rode our bikes. We jumped shit. We did boys shit. Like, that's what we did. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't still happen. Sure, it does still happen, but does it happen as often? Does it happen as much? Based on what you see on social media, based on what you see on TV, based on what you see just in public in general, I don't think so. Not nearly as much. I mean, yeah, sure, I see some kids out there fishing, some kids out riding bikes, some kids playing sports and whatnot. But I don't think it's anywhere near what it was. But anyways, I'm chasing these butterflies, right? So my guess is that my grandparents were probably immigrants. Whether they were illegal or not, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't ask. It wasn't a topic of conversation back when I was in 8th grade, and it didn't really matter. They were my grandparents, and they were cool, and that was just the way it was. They were both retired. They both worked in agriculture, and that was what it was. My dad didn't really necessarily work in agriculture. Like I said, he was in the military and became a drug addict. So, I mean, I don't really know what to say outside of that. But what I'm getting at is that there are plenty of people here in the United States that belong here. There are plenty of people here that are woven into our society. There are plenty of people here that, deserve to be here, deserve to have that better life, that are working to have that better life, that are actually being productive in society, not just a drain, what we have on the news right now, what we have going on in LA right now is not that. We have a bunch of people that want to fight the system because they don't like the answers. Well, as I've said before in other videos, I don't like to be told what to do either, right? Do you? Do you like to be told what to do? When you get pulled over by the cops and you're doing 50 in a 45, and he says, "Did you know I pulled you over?" And you say, "I don't know." And he says, "You were doing 50 in a 45. And you say, 5 miles an hour? Yeah, you were doing 5 miles an hour over. Doesn't make it that he was wrong. You were wrong, right? So here we are. We've got a bunch of people that are just pissed off because they're not getting their fucking way. And what are they doing? Acting out, rising up. And why are they doing it? Because they know that the system is designed to not be able to put their hands on them. Right? There is no accountability for your actions. So why not go out there and act out? Why not? Not going to get arrested. And if you do, if you get arrested by the locals, then you're going to get let off because they have really, really lax DAs over there in LA County for sure, as we all know, just because the amount of crime that's already out there. So I mean, why wouldn't they, just say, hey, this is wrong. How can we fix this? They're like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go act like children. I want to go destroy my room. I want to go throw my toys all over the place. I want to go throw your toys all over the place because I don't like the answer that you're giving me. I don't like it either. But unfortunately, that's where we're at. That's where we're at in society. In society, we are bred to believe, or should I say, we are conditioned, because we're not bred. There's just no way that this is the 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 fabric of our society, right? That says, oh, when you're born into this life of entitlement. Maybe nowadays you are, but back in the 70s and even in the 80s, you were not born with this level of entitlement that these people are born with now. You're conditioned. And the reason I say you're conditioned is because you're conditioned through action, right? Perfect example. If you're a lazy fucking kid and you don't do shit, and your parents don't ask you to do shit, and you don't have the initiative to do shit, then you're conditioned to believe that being lazy is acceptable. Is it your fault? 100%. Is it your parents' fault? 100%. How do you fix it? Well, that's for another video. However, that's where we're at, right? We have these people, whether they're professional agitators or not, doesn't make any difference, right? They're conditioned to believe that their actions are acceptable. Looting, you're conditioned to believe that their actions are okay. Why? Because if you don't get arrested for it, then how in the hell are you supposed to learn right and wrong? If you can go into a store right now in California and steal up to $999 worth of shit and just walk out, well, then you're conditioned to believe that that's okay. So when people start throwing rocks, like we're in a third world fucking country, and they want to start fighting with the police because it's okay, they know that, well, I'm not going to go to jail, and if I do, I'm going to get out pretty soon because they're just going to go ahead and just take me in the back, put me in a van, or put me in a bus. I'm going to have to sit there for a couple hours, and then like in New York, they'll just unhook me and then let me go. Maybe they'll process you. I don't really know. I mean, I'm kind of out of touch with the legal system in California. Thank God, because I would hate to have to go and deal with anybody out there in that regards. Just because I couldn't fathom the mindset. I can't wrap my head around the mindset. So back to my tirade, right? So here we are. We're in a month where it's men's mental health. There's Juneteenth, there's Father's Day, there's all these things wrapped into this one month. And then you have all these people that are like, don't deport the illegals. Like try to put that into perspective, right? Don't deport the illegals. That's like saying don't pull over people that run red lights. Don't pull over people that speed. Don't pull over people that rape and kill. Don't pull people over that maim. Don't pull people over and don't arrest people that do domestic violence or animal cruelty or break any law whatsoever. Right? Don't. Just leave us alone is what the people are kind of asking for. Just leave us alone to let us do our thing and let us live our lives. Well, I'm sure there's probably a laundry list of countries out there in the world as of right now that would love nothing more than to bring you and your fucked up mentality into their society so that you could be a part of it too. I don't believe that America is one of them. I really don't. I mean, I think that with the administration that we have right now, we're trying to get back onto a playing field where the grass is green, it's well groomed, and we're all playing the same game to win, right? But no. We have these groups of adult babies that want to piss and moan because they want to fight for something that has nothing to do with them unless they're illegal themselves. And if so, I think that there's a lot of illegal immigrants here in the country that would love nothing more than to be here legally. They would love nothing more than to make it happen. I think that they're probably afraid that the process is either too expensive, too time consuming, or they just don't know how to go about it. So they figure, hey, if I just keep a low profile and stay out of the limelight, then maybe I won't get picked up, or maybe somebody won't drop a dime on me, or maybe in some way, shape, or form I won't get shipped back to the country in which I came from. But do you think that, defacing your local buildings and destroying local buildings and destroying local small businesses and doing all of the dumb shit that people are doing right now, do we believe that that's the answer? I mean, just think about it, right? I know that you don't think that. I know I sure as shit don't think that. And I'm sure that anybody that would probably watch this video, should anybody ever watch this video, would think the same thing. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you think that would be a solution? I mean, I get it that, you guys are conditioned. And I say you guys because I'm not one of them. You're not going to find me down there holding up a sign that says, don't deport the illegals. Fuck ICE, fuck the government, fuck the police. You're not going to find me out there with a sign that says that. And not just because not just because I agree with them upholding the law, but just because I realize that it's wrong. So why the fuck would I go out there and support it? That doesn't make any sense. And there's tons and tons of people that are just like me that would say to themselves the same exact thing, right? Why am I going to go out there and support these people that are just acting out and doing dumb shit in public? No. As a matter of fact, I hope they use every single zip tie that they have in their inventory and order some more and arrest every single person that they could possibly get their hands on. Put that on your record. Put that on your criminal record, so that way when you have to do a background check, then that actually comes up, and because you know why? That's why. This is why. The reason why we have life the way we have it here in the United States is because people know and they're conditioned to believe that nothing bad is going to happen to them. Oh, if I drive drunk, no big deal. So I'll just get pulled over and I'll just get a DUI. Oh, I can just smoke some weed and drive. It's fine. It's no big deal. It's still a Schedule II narcotic, and some states it's okay, in other states it's not. But for the states that it's not, I'll just say that I'm from the state that it is, and then the cop is just gonna just let me go. Right? This is the world we live in, right? Everybody's a judge, everybody's an attorney, and everybody's a victim. You get pulled over for speeding, what's the first fucking thing you do? What'd you pull me over for? You start being a dick to the cop. For what? For him doing his job? No. You're being a dick because you got caught. So imagine that. Imagine if you had just done what you were supposed to do, whether it was to not speed, run a red light, stop sign, whatever the case was, whatever it was that brought their attention to you. Maybe when you get pulled over, because you already know why, right? You don't just pull over and go, oh, gee, I wonder why this guy's pulling me over. You know exactly why. So same thing. If you're out there rioting, looting, throwing Molotovs, throwing rocks, doing dumb shit, trying to fight with the police and all that stuff, you don't get the luxury of just putting your hands up and being like, oh, it wasn't me, sorry. Perfect example, right? So I see this video on YouTube, and it was a video of these rioters. Because let's face it, they're not protesters. These people are not protesting a fucking thing. They're rioting. They're inciting a riot. They're trying to incite other rioters. They're trying to what's the word? They're trying to recruit others, right? By saying, oh, cops are bad, ACAB, ACAB, ACAB. Yeah, imagine that. The people that are screaming ACAB, you can always pick them out of a lineup Every fucking one of them, you know. But anyways, so these rioters, right? So what are they doing? They're outside of the ice building, and then there's a gate there, and they're throwing shit at the gate, and it's all tagged up, and they're throwing more shit and more shit. Well, as the gate starts to rise, you start hearing people say, "Oh, they're coming out, right? Yeah, they're coming out, all right. They're coming out guns blazing, but not the way that I would suggest. I would suggest they come out just laying down the rubber bullets and shooting everybody, and when they drop, you leave them there to just wallow in their own pain, and then you have a team number 2 that comes back behind you, and that's the team that's hooking everybody up and taking everybody inside and arresting them under federal charges for inciting riots and domestic terrorism and all the other bullshit that they can make stick to them. Because let's face it, your federal DAs are going to be way different than your local DAs, and we already know this because, well, let's see. The federal government now has a set of balls on them, whereas in the local government down in LA County, it does not. But anyways, so the gate starts to rise, and these guys are coming out, guys and girls, cops, and they're starting to shoot. I'm assuming they're probably pepper balls, right? And they start shooting people. What's the first thing the front line does? Oh, I wasn't doing nothing. Oh, it wasn't me. Oh. Right? Right? You're always a badass when you're out there and you're outnumbering whoever it is that you're looking at. If you're trying to intimidate somebody in a bar fight, you've got a couple friends behind you, like now all of a sudden, you're Billy Badass and you're this person that's going to, take on the whole bar or whatever. Same thing, right? You got a bunch of rioters, and what do? They're all jacking each other up. Oh, yeah, fuck these guys. Oh, these fucking cops. Oh, let's take it to them. And then as soon as the cops start shooting them pepper balls, I'm a victim. Oh, don't shoot me. Oh, don't arrest me. I didn't do nothing. I got a family. I got kids. I got a job. I don't give a fuck. I would arrest every single fucking one of them. Every fucking one of them. Why? Because we don't live in a country like that. We don't live there. So why should the cops have to put up with it? It's a little thing called rules of engagement. Well, that might be a military term, but anyways, it's basically the same premise. They're told that they have certain rules that they can and can't enforce. They can and can't do. They have lines that they can and can't cross. And guess what? The rioters know this. Why? Because they're conditioned to know the rules. Oh, well, you can't go put your hands on me. Oh, you can't put your hands on me. You can't arrest me for this. You can't arrest me for that. I'll get off. I'll get this. I'll get that. I'll fucking sue the department. I want your name and badge number. How about you can have it on the report and shut the fuck up? Go home, and if you know some friends that are illegals, help them become citizens of the United States. Don't go out there and fight the system for someone else, because do you think they're going to fight the system for you? You get arrested by going out there and fighting for your neighbor, Julio. Do you think Julio's going to go call a bail bondsman and go bail you out of jail? Fuck no. Because he's at home drinking a cerveza. Because he's got to go to work tomorrow. Because he knows, I got to go to work tomorrow. I need to make money. I have to have a job. I don't have the luxuries of just going out here and fucking around and hoping I don't have to find out. But here we are. We're conditioned to believe that this is okay. Taking a hammer to sidewalks, taking a hammer to bollards, taking a hammer to, everything that you can destroy, autonomous taxis that don't have anything to do with you guys. Destroying local businesses. Some businesses, they're Mexican owned, according to the news. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't sit there and beat the shit out of my keyboard trying to find out the answer to all these questions. I just go off of what the news is. And if you call me a liar and you just call me like, well, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you don't fact check. You're absolutely right. I don't fact check. And I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm not going to spend my entire fucking day trying to fact check every little fucking thing because I have work to do. I have shit to do. Right? Same reason why I don't go riot. I got shit to do. I would much rather sit in front of the TV and play PlayStation than go down and riot for something that I don't believe in. I got better shit to do. But then again, here we are. We're in a world where people will riot over fucking anything. Right? Yeah, let's face it. They absolutely will. George Floyd, the other kid, Michael Brown. Well, let's see. We didn't riot over the white kid that got stabbed by the other kid. That we don't riot over that stuff because well, we fucking know better. You know, the unfortunate reality that we live in is now we're in this racial divide in our country, and the racial divide consists of, you're either black or you're white. You're either racist or you're not. You're racist if you're white, but you're not racist if you're black. But if you're brown, you're somewhere kind of in the middle, and you're still not really kind of like there, but you can jump on either side, right? But when it comes to stuff like this, right? All you have to do, you don't have to see them inside outside of their mask. All you have to do is look at their skin color. Unfortunately, when you're talking about Mexicans versus black, well, it's a little harder to tell who's a dark-skinned white guy or who's a light-skinned Mexican because the skin tones are pretty close. Now, if you have riots for for black movements or reasons or whatnot, it's a little bit easier to tell who's who. Again, why do you cover your face? They cover their face because they know that while they might not get accountability for their actions legally, well, their boss might find them and fire them if they have a job. Their friends might narc them out. Somebody might recognize them and drop a dime on them. And they don't want to get in trouble, whether it's one reason or another. But again, here we go. We're conditioned to believe that these types of actions are okay. It's okay to go and destroy your city. Seattle, Portland, Minnesota, LA's just one stopping point. That's just one area. Southern California, you've got Arizona, you got New Mexico, you've got Texas. The reason why they don't do it in Texas is because Texans don't fuck around. They're not going to fucking play with that shit. They are not going to allow that type of mentality in their state, right? California, unfortunately for me, being a Californian, is a fucking shithole. Unfortunately, it really is unfortunate because California does have a lot of very, very pretty attributes. It's like a hot chick that doesn't do certain things, right? She's hot on the outside, but she's got problems. California's the same way, but that's why they don't fuck around in Texas. I think Arizona's, it's a little bit stronger than California, but I don't know that it's that much. But, California, just as a whole, LA County and just the whole Southern California is it's predominantly brown. And I can say that because I'm partially brown. It might be a very small percentage. If I had to guess, if I really broke down the percentages, I would probably say maybe a third. Because my dad's not 100% Mexican. He was born in the United States. So being born in the United States, it doesn't make him 100% Mexican. So if you take a white mother and a half Mexican dad, then I get like maybe a third. So, I don't have a Mexican flag tattooed on me. I only speak a little bit of Spanish, But hey, I feel for these people. I really, really do. And I feel for their families, and I wish that they could all of the productive ones become productive people in society. I wish the onboarding process to get into the United States was a little bit easier and a little bit faster. For the ones that want to truly be here for good reasons, and for those that don't, they just want to come here just to leech off the system. Fucking stay home, man. Don't come here. And for them, don't let them in. But that's where we don't profile. We can't profile. It's against our rights, religions, constitution, whatever the fuck it is, whatever reason that you want to say why we can't stereotype people and why we can't profile people is, whatever. But let's face it, if it was okay, do you think that we would have the shit that we have? Fuck no, we wouldn't. Why? Because the people that would be looking at people's backgrounds and looking at the system and looking at the people that are wanting to come into the United States and say, hey, man, you're looking to come into the United States to work and be productive in society and do all the things you're supposed to do as a normal American citizen? Come on in. Oh, you're a fucking drug dealer and you've got a laundry list of criminal charges from your native country? No, fucking stay. We don't want you. Not welcome here. Why can't we do that? Well, that's because it's profiling. We can't do that. It's against the fucking whatever. Sure, there's probably a right or a constitutional right or something or other. I mean, I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. Don't get me wrong. I don't sit there and I don't know all the penal codes. I don't look them all up. I don't know all the answers. Half the time I'm probably talking out of my ass, and that's okay. Why? Because this is my living room, as I was told once before by a friend of mine. My social media is my living room, and if you don't like it, you are welcome to not come over. I mean, that's the world that we live in right now. That's the country that I live in. I live in a country where, like, if you don't like what I have to say, you can either not listen or we can talk it out. You want to talk it out? Let's talk it out. And I'm more than happy to talk it out. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and spew facts and statistics and, know all the rights and know the this and know the that. Nope, I'm going to talk from common sense. I mean, it seems like common sense should really be kind of like the barometer for the world. Just my opinion. But who am I? I'm not licensed in anything outside of common sense, So, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. We're at almost 32 minutes. And I wanted to come on here. Right now, it's a very, very hot topic. People are just destroying cities over shit that probably has nothing to do with them, and it's very unfortunate. It's unfortunate that there are people that are caught in the crossfire, businesses that are caught in the crossfire, innocent people that are caught in the crossfire, innocent autonomous taxis, which I didn't even know they had in California, but how badass are those, right? I think it'd be kind of cool to see one of those, but I live in Florida and, we have Uber and Lyft and whatever other rideshare program is sprouting up out of the ground today and tomorrow. Everybody's out there to make a buck and everybody's looking to make fees and everybody's looking to fuck over their employees. So why wouldn't they just bring out some autonomous taxis, cut out all the people, and put all the profits in their pocket? I'm sure somebody somewhere's got it in the works. I'm sure pretty soon it'll be an Amazon taxi. But anyways, look, for what it's worth, listen to me, don't listen to me. Agree with me, don't agree with me. Whatever the case is, this is just my area to come on here and to vent. Maybe you like what I have to say, maybe you don't, and that's okay. We can talk about it, we can not talk about it. You can just go on and move on, or you can stay around. You can like, comment, and subscribe, and we can grow this venting channel, and I can vent about some other shit. I'd like to really start. I would really like to cover, divorce coming up, just because it's still very fresh. I mean, I know it's been a few years, but it's still pretty fresh, just because my ex-wife is still around. So, I'll have to cover that. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on about lazy-ass kids. I really could. But that would get old, right? We will talk about gaming one day. I mean, the state of gaming. I mean, fuck. There's so much content, and there's so much to talk about in life. There's so much to vent about. That's the nice thing about a platform like YouTube and other platforms like it is, it's a way to voice our First Amendment right to where I don't have to worry about some idiot getting in my face and spitting all over me and like, provoking me because I'm probably not the right person to provoke. My fuse is kind of short. I had fucking a lot of anger built up inside, and some days it's curbed, and other days it's right there, and it's very unfortunate because I think that a lot of it is because I grew up in a different time frame. I'm sure a lot of people did. A lot of people that would listen to here, like if you're 50 years old, you probably grew up in the same time frame as I did, and to see society and the people within society, both adults and kids, just absolutely inept, clueless, just can't fucking wipe their own ass. It's disgusting. And you wonder why you get such shitty service when you go to like restaurants and stores and whatnot. Because the people just don't give a fuck. And here we are, people over in California. They just don't give a fuck. And they're not going to give a fuck until they get their way. They're either going to get their way or they're going to die trying. And it's unfortunate because we shouldn't have to come to that. We should be able to talk it out like adults. But we can't. Because we're conditioned not to. Conditioned to throw a tantrum like a 5-year-old. So, anyways. That Oliver Anthony song, I got the link. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the description. I don't know. Like, everybody on YouTube's really good at this whole, like, I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to put it down there. I'm going to put it over there in the description or whatever. And I'm going to just drop it into the description and so that you can go watch it. He does make really, really great music. I did get to take my daughter to a concert of his right before she left to go into the Army. And he's just, man, he just makes great music. And great down-home music that a lot of us can relate to. So, in the meantime, this has been from I'm Not Licensed. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell somebody you love them. Till next time.